In this video, I'm going to be giving you my 5 most overrated skills in Rocket League. But before we start, I need to clear up one thing. Because when I say overrated, I do not mean that these are bad skills or things that you shouldn't learn. Every skill in this video is strong, useful, and has its place in Rocket League. But I say they're overrated because people focus on them way too early, way too often, or in situations where they're just not the best option. So if you're trying to rank up faster, this video might save you hundreds of hours. Let's get into it. First and foremost, we're going to be starting with the flip reset. And flip resets are one of my favorite mechanics in the entire game. They're powerful, versatile, creative, and completely overrated for the low and mid ranks. The amount of comments I see online, on Reddit, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, whatever, of people saying that they're gold, plat, diamond, and they can reset consistently or even double flip reset is just insane. And honestly, it kind of pisses me off. Not because the mechanic's bad or because people are learning it, but because people treat it like it's a flex when their rank literally proves that they're not winning games. So either they're just lying and they can't do a flip reset in that rank, or they can do the mechanic in like free play but can't actually use it in ranked. And even if somehow it was true that nowadays these golds, plats, and diamonds could reset consistently, they're still not high ranked. I seriously don't recommend learning flip resets until around GC1, maybe high C3 at the earliest. Because below that level, you genuinely don't need them. And I'm living proof of that myself. I am currently GC3, and I couldn't reset consistently until I hit GC. And I still climbed without them. So if you're plat through champ or, even below plat, there's a 99.99999% chance that something else is holding you back, not your lack of flip resets. The second overrated skill is getting big boosts. And now this is not really a skill, it's more of just a thing that people do, but I wanted to include it anyway because I think it's very useful for people to know. Getting big boosts, again, is not bad. Starving them from your opponent gives you massive value. But constantly rotating all the way back to your corner when attacking is one of the fastest and easiest ways to kill all the pressure that you have in Rocket League. So many players do this little cycle, right? They're on offense, the ball goes into the air, and then instead of staying involved in the play, they just go all the way back and they go get their corner boost. And now suddenly, their teammates all alone. The defense gets time to get their own boosts and, pads and whatnot. And the attack just dies for completely free. So it's often way, way better to grab small pads around the midfield and to stay in the play, because this means that you remain a threat. So this kind of boost management will win way more games for you than just going all the way back for big boosts. There's always a time and a place for going all the way back, but in a lot of cases, especially in 2v2, you should be grabbing a lot of small pads. Now the third most overrated, well, these are in no order, but the third overrated thing is going to be solo plays. And again, solo plays are great. They improve your mechanics, confidence, and your creativity on the ball. But they're overrated because I believe they're overused. Because there are so many situations in Rocket League where a simple pass or a soft touch to your teammate could lead and would lead to a free goal. But instead, players force solo plays because it looks cooler and they want to hit clips and whatever other, that kind of thing. Solo plays, again, absolutely have their place. When you can take time and you can, create a play out of it, that's fine. But Rocket League isn't always about making the flashiest play. It's about making the best play. So if you start paying attention to your teammates' positioning, instead of just soloing every single play, you will score more goals with less effort. So try to be more aware of where your teammates are and start passing to them as well. The fourth overrated skill in Rocket League that I have on my list is back post rotation. And again, back post rotation isn't necessarily a horrible thing, right? It's what they've taught us in Rocket League, educational videos about rotations. It's been a thing that's been taught for like, I don't know, the last 5 years maybe. But I'm here to tell you that Rocket League evolves. It's a situational piece of rotation, not the actual rule. Because a lot of players treat back post rotation like gospel. If I'm man, I must go back post and then wait. But that's not always true. Because sometimes cutting the rotation and forcing the opponent's play for your teammate is way better than just being a sitting duck back post and just letting them walk the ball closer to your goal. And if you watch the highest ranked players in the world, like Zen, like Drali, like Vatira, you'll notice something interesting. They don't actually go back post that much. They do it sometimes for sure, but a lot of the time they just cut rotation. They apply pressure to the opposing attacker. They force these bad touches. They bump their opponent. And then they let their teammate clean all of it up. So back post should be a tool, should be something that you use occasionally when it is the right play, when it is good to be back post so you can cover a shot maybe. But it shouldn't be the automatic default every time you're rotating back. And the fifth and final overrated skill that I have in Rocket League on my list is going to be going into the air. And this one's going to sound wrong at first, but hear me out, okay? Going into the air is overrated in a lot of ranked situations, in my opinion. Because there are so many moments, right, where the ball will bounce, and then you'll have time, and almost everyone's instincts nowadays is to just pop the ball up, and then fly after and go for some aerial play, right? Either a double tap, or a previously mentioned flip reset, or whatever it might be. But what does usually happen? One defender sits in net, one defender sits in backboard, and the aerial play gets shut down very easily. Or one of the guys even pre-jumps the aerial play, and then the other guy sits backboard. And in so many of these situations, if the player just caught the ball on top of the car and went for a ground dribble or a flick, or even went for an air dribble bump after catching it, right? Just not always instantly going into the air and being able to go into the air later. These kinds of shifts are going to be so useful for you. I believe that Rocket League has gone heavily towards aerial play, which means that attacking in the air has gotten better over time, right? By a lot. But that also means that defending in the air has gotten a lot better. And that's why ground play gets neglected. So what I see in that is that defenders are often less prepared for strong ground dribbles, for strong flicks, for good low 50s. So don't get me wrong, aerial plays are very powerful, but I believe that ground play is often in the middle ranks especially a bigger threat because people are less expectant of these ground plays. And if you want more personalized one-on-one help so you can actually rank up and improve as fast as possible, I'm a coach on Metafy, where I'll break down your replays, showing you exactly what's holding you back, and give you simple, actionable fixes that you can apply to your game immediately. So if you enjoyed this video and like the way that I explain things, check out the Metafy link in the description, it'll be the first one. Good luck in your games, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.